Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I did a video just recently talking about growing your own wealth, and well, we're going to talk about that some more. I just came across in support of that idea, I want to read something. It's a chart. I'll show it because I'm reading at this point, but you will see this. The level of financial inequity around the world is staggering. According to a new Credit Suisse report, 47.8% of global household wealth is in the hands of just 1.2% of the world's population. Those 62.5 million individuals control a staggering $221.7 trillion. 62.5 million people control $221.7 trillion, as can be seen in this infographic, and this is from September 29, 2022. I know many people with vision. Heck, I'm one of them. And not just vision, with know-how, the ability to change, fix, adjust, so many things that we tend to complain about, question, argue about, etc. Solutions do exist. But most of the people who have the vision, what do? They get it all ready and then they prepare to go to someone else who has the funds, because this is a global and this is a financial, or I'll say a monetary-centric society. They need to go to someone who's got the money to appeal to them, to present to them, to jump through hoops for, etc., for them to extend, with some strings, some ability to do that part of it that they decide, okay, yeah, there may be some value to that, okay? It's not a point of whether there's value or not to society, is whether there's value or not to them. So what's wrong with this picture? The people who have the funds, who are being appealed to, don't have the knowledge, don't have the energy, or haven't had the inclination to understand the problems or the solutions. They do have the inclination to maintain whatever they think they have of value. So what is the other way? What's the other thing to do about this? One is to just wait and keep trying to find someone who is willing to put the funds up, partner with, or however that negotiation works out. But the other way is to basically grow your own, have your own, raise your own resources, because it's not so much the quote-unquote money you have, it's the flow of money that you have. The people that are controlling this $221 trillion in perceived value simply have created the flow that it comes into them. The people who don't or are not doing it have not created a flow of receipt. They have simply created a habit of putting out, of giving, oftentimes thanklessly giving. And so, and then not only that, thanklessly giving, receiving far less than the value that they have, or either setting their own dreams aside and supporting someone else's. But without having a return track, then this is where the social, psychological, spiritual issues come up. Where's the dissatisfaction comes up. It's where the schism exists. And it all can be changed. Not by going in and trying to take from, I think I said, the Robin Hood thing, take from the rich to give to the poor. That's not basically it. The poor have habits, and more so habits of thinking. They have habits of behavior, but they have habits of thinking. Before you change your behavior, before you change your reality, you change how you think. You come up with other ways of doing things. And one of the, who's got the 200 trillion? Who created and who creates the flow that creates these trillions and trillions? It's you and me. You got a small group of people who have these tracks of put out something and receive all set in place. And then the rest of the people who are in chronic financial insufficiency, not just the visionaries who have some solutions, but people who are simply trying to live their life. I just saw something the other day about this guy in South Sudan where people earn $2 a month. I'm thinking about Haiti, and where I spent 24 hours in Haiti a few years ago, and not much has changed. I went there a few months after the earthquake there in 2010. Not much has changed since then, even though billions of dollars have flowed into it, but not to the people who actually needed it. There were some interlopers present to catch that flow. So what's the answer? Insurrection to me isn't the answer in the way that most people think of it. Certainly robbing from the rich to give to someone else, it's not the answer either. The someone else, people who consider themselves poor, or people who consider themselves simply, whether they consider themselves, are in financial insufficiency, do have another option. That is to give to others what you would like to receive, and create a flow of receipt so that as you give, so shall you receive. And here it goes. Co-op Crowd is that vehicle. What you give a small amount, and there's nothing else involved. You see, there's no other causes. They're all of the causes. It's the causes of every member in that regard. It's the life. It's the quality of life. It's the wealth state of each member. And simply, you take $100 roughly, or $400 roughly, if you want to make things happen bigger, faster. Now, if you got millions of dollars, it's going to cost you the same thing as everyone else. Your money does not matter. The money that's being converted into a stable coin, USDC, however we're doing this, it is used for something else, and that is to set your place. And yes, it, in a small way, it helps the person and the people connected that you are donating to. But by also inviting 3 more to do the same thing that you're doing for the same reasons that you're doing it, you set the pathways of receipt. You do the groundwork. That is your work. That's what you would do. Like a farmer who has their seeds, and you look at the seeds, you don't know, outside of your understanding and knowledge of this, you don't know what you're going to be getting from it. You don't even know how that happens. It goes from this, you add a little water and some energy and these other things that are in that water and that's in your intention, and all this wonderful bounty comes out of it. you're doing the same thing with Co-op Crowd. You will receive 3 tokens, 4 tokens, based on if you put in the 100 or the 400. And 3 of those tokens you're going to use to send to invite 3 people who are going to do just what you did. And then they're going to get 3 tokens, and they're going to invite 3 people to do exactly what your invitees did. And in so doing, these self-motivated, you could also say these love-motivated people are going to build their own wealth, their own bounty, their own, because they have created a pathway of receipt. And when they are done, when it matures, there will be 88,572 positions that are all pointed directly to you. And when they do the same thing, and when theirs mature, there will be 88,572 positions all pointed directly to them. And it's because of the positive reinforcement, because every time someone activates, the giver, the inviter, receives. And so there's positive reinforcement. You continue the process. And I'm saying with 3 is the minimum in the sense of triggering the system to work in the way that it does. You can invite 5, you can invite 10. There's no limit to that number. But the people that you invite are still going to need to have and create their next 3. So it's not necessarily about going that way. It's about focus and invite your 3 and help those 3 invite their 3. Now, if you've got 5 that you've invited and all of them have 3, hallelujah. But understand that's the work that needs to be done. To receive geometrically, this is what you want. You need to have your 3 and your 3 have their 3. There needs to be 3 who are active underneath you at all times. Correction. 12 people active at all times. You get your 3, and then your 3 get their 3. Your total is 12. That's when you go passive. That's when your work is done. At which point in time, no more money needs to come out of your pocket, but a lot will come in. That's the point. This is a way you can grow your own wealth, and you don't do it by taking from someone else. In fact, you're giving others an opportunity to grow their own. And the same rules apply to everyone, and the same benefits apply to everyone, and yet each path is going to be unique to each one. Beautiful system. That's the way life is. So, with all that said, like I said, I didn't know how I was going to start this, but don't disparage, don't worry about the, 1.2% or whatever that number is. It's really not important. And in fact, creating your own wealth doesn't take away from theirs. If there's someone got some cushion, maybe they do. But the ones who need a pathway of return, as far as the financials are concerned, are you and me. We have to create that for ourselves. No one's going to create it for us. This is a way to do it. That doesn't have to, you don't have to have the next great widget. You don't have to have any of that stuff. And yet, once you create that pathway and you have the flow, an ongoing flow of substantial income coming to you, now you can do a number of other things that perhaps that you've wanted to do all of your life. How cool is that? At any rate, that's my thought and my reason for sitting here and doing this. Join Co-op Crowd. Use my invitation link, or the invitation link of the Co-op Crowd member that sent you, and let's grow our own wealth. Till next time, peace. Be well, be wealthy, and I love you all.